25 urban legends that turned out to be true. Have you ever heard a creepy urban legend and thought, there's no way that's true? What if I told you some of the most spine-chilling stories you've heard actually happened? From corpses under hotel beds to secret killers living in attics, these 25 urban legends will make you question everything. Stay tuned because some of these will shock you to your core. 25. The corpse under the bed. Imagine booking a hotel room, settling in for the night, and waking up to a strange smell. Would you ever think to check under the bed? This horrifying urban legend has turned out to be real on multiple occasions. In cities like Las Vegas, Atlantic City, and Kansas City, hotel guests unknowingly slept above decomposing bodies hidden beneath their beds. One of the most infamous cases occurred in 1999, when a German couple in Atlantic City spent the night in a room with a corpse stuffed into the box spring. The smell, they assumed it was coming from outside. Turns out they were sleeping just inches away from death. 24. The leaping lawyer. Confidence can be dangerous, especially when testing the limits of reality. In 1993, a Toronto-based lawyer named Gary Hoy decided to demonstrate the strength of his office's glass windows by throwing himself against one. The first time, the glass held. The second time, the entire window frame popped out, sending him plummeting from the 24th floor to his death. What was supposed to be a bold demonstration turned into a fatal mistake, proving that sometimes even professionals don't understand their own risks. 23rd. Murderers entering apartments via medicine cabinets. You always lock your doors and windows, but what about your medicine cabinet? In the 1980s, a chilling case in Chicago revealed that an intruder used a tunnel-like gap between apartment walls to crawl through connected medicine cabinets. This method allowed him to enter unsuspecting victims' homes undetected. This real-life horror story even inspired the infamous horror film Candyman. So next time you're in a bathroom, maybe double-check where that cabinet leads. 22. The case of the familiar cadaver. Medical students, what would you do if you recognize the body on your dissection table? In 1982, a medical student walked into class only to realize she was about to dissect her own great-aunt. The discovery was so shocking that the cadaver was immediately removed from the class. The student and her great-aunt had once discussed body donation to science, but she never expected to see her relative in this context. Talk about an anatomy lesson you'll never forget. 21. The body in the chimney. Ever heard strange noises coming from your chimney? It might not be Santa Claus. In 1984, a man named Joseph Schneider was found wedged inside the chimney of a Louisiana bank 27 years after he went missing. Authorities believe he attempted to break into the building through the chimney but got stuck and never made it out. Homeowners often assume strange smells from the fireplace are from animals. Sometimes the truth is far more disturbing. 20. The Green Man, or Charlie No-Face. A glowing, faceless figure walking the roads at night sounds like a ghost story, right? In Pennsylvania, the legend of the Green Man terrified locals for years. But the truth? Raymond Robinson, a real man, had suffered a horrific accident as a child that left him without a nose, eyes, or lips. He took nighttime walks along Route 351 to avoid the stares of strangers, unintentionally fueling the myth of the glowing, faceless figure. His story proves how real people can become legends over time. 19. The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs. Late-night babysitting just got a lot scarier. This legend tells of a babysitter receiving creepy phone calls only to discover the caller is inside the house. In 1950, 13-year-old Janet Christman was babysitting in Columbia, Missouri when she was brutally murdered. Evidence suggested she had tried to call for help, but it was too late. This real-life tragedy fueled the terrifying Hollywood trope of the babysitter in peril. 18. The Man in the White Van. Don't talk to strangers, especially the ones in white vans. Between 1970 and 1973, serial killer Dean Corll lured victims into his white van with candy, earning him the nickname the Candy Man. This urban legend, warning kids to avoid white vans, wasn't just paranoia. It was a real-life nightmare that claimed at least 28 victims. 17. El Hombre del Saco. Spain's version of the boogeyman was based on a horrifying real crime. In 1910, Francisco Leona kidnapped a young boy, stuffed him into a sack, and brutally murdered him. Why? He had been paid to harvest the boy's blood and organs as a supposed cure for tuberculosis. The legend of El Hombre del Saco, or the Sack Man, continues to haunt Spain to this day. 16. The legend of Cropsey. What if the campfire stories you heard as a kid were real? Staten Island children grew up fearing Cropsey, a supposed escaped mental patient lurking in tunnels and kidnapping kids. It turns out the legend had a horrifying truth. Andre Rand, a former janitor at a mental institution, was convicted of kidnapping and linked to several disappearances. One child's remains were even found buried near his old workplace. 15. The Slave Master Chain Letter. An online killer hiding in plain sight. During the early 2000s, women across the US received emails warning of a serial killer called Slave Master, who lured victims online. While many dismissed it as a hoax, the reality was terrifying. John Robinson was arrested after authorities discovered multiple bodies on his property. He had been using BDSM forums to lure victims under the same alias. 14. Alligators in the sewers. An urban myth or reality? The idea of alligators living in New York City's sewers sounds ridiculous, but in the 1930s, officials actually reported sightings of baby alligators in storm drains. Some speculate they were flushed pets, while others claim larger alligators roamed underground. Even as recently as 2010, authorities captured a baby alligator in Queens. 13. The Blue Whale Challenge. A deadly game that went too far. Rumors of an online challenge pushing teens towards self-harm seemed like an internet hoax until reports linked a 2015 Russian suicide to the game. The supposed creator, Philip Budeikin, was later arrested, claiming he had cleansed society by targeting vulnerable individuals. Though some claims remain unverified, the panic it caused was very real. 12th. Death by tanning bed. A horror movie scene brought to life. In Final Destination, a tanning bed accident is one of the film's most gruesome deaths. But in 1989, reality was just as horrific. Patty Campbell, a woman with a medication-induced light sensitivity, spent 25 minutes in a tanning bed. Within days, severe burns covered 70% of her body, leading to her death. 11. The Bunny Man. A man in a bunny suit with an axe? Fairfax County, Virginia, has long shared tales of the Bunny Man, a hatchet-wielding maniac in a rabbit costume. In 1970, the Washington Post reported that 2 separate incidents involved a man dressed as a bunny attacking cars with an axe. Though no murders were confirmed, the legend of the Bunny Man persists. 10th, Switzerland's Forest Phantom. A silent figure haunting the woods. For over a decade, residents near Malls, Switzerland, feared Le Loyon, a man in a gas mask and cloak wandering the forest. His identity remained unknown until 2013, when his clothing was found abandoned with a note declaring his disappearance. Who was he, and why did he leave? The mystery remains. 9. The nightmare of being buried alive. Waking up in a coffin. Just a horror story, right? Think again. In the late 1800s, Octavia Hatcher fell into a coma and was presumed dead. She was buried quickly, but days later, people noticed similar cases where patients woke up. When her coffin was exhumed, horrifying evidence showed she had clawed at the lid, trying to escape. This real-life nightmare led to the invention of safety coffins with bells for those buried alive. 8. The Candlelight Prowler. A shadowy figure leaving only melted wax behind? For years, Australian children whispered about the Candlelight Prowler, a man who silently entered homes at night watching families sleep. In 2012, Darren James McDonald was arrested after breaking into multiple homes, using a candle to navigate in the dark. He committed disturbing crimes, leaving behind only wax as evidence. What was once thought to be just a scary story turned out to be horrifyingly real. 7. The Headlight Gang Initiation. Ever flash your headlights at a car with no lights on? You might want to think twice. A long-standing urban legend warns that flashing your lights at a car driving with its headlights off could make you a target. In 1992, this nightmare became reality when 19-year-old Kelly Freed was shot after her driver signaled an unlit car. The shooters, two teenage gang members, took offense and opened fire. Though often dismissed as myth, this case proves some warnings shouldn't be ignored. 6. The playing card killer. What if a murderer left a chilling calling card at every crime scene? In 2003, Alfredo Galan terrorized Madrid, Spain, by leaving a playing card at each murder scene. Authorities dubbed him the playing card killer. His methods seemed deliberate, but when caught, he claimed the cards were an afterthought. His case remains one of Spain's most haunting real-life crime stories. 5. The deadly wedgie. A childhood prank turned fatal? In 2013, an argument between Bradley Davis and his stepfather, Denver St. Clair, ended in tragedy. Davis yanked St. Clair's underwear over his head so forcefully that it cut off his airway, leading to suffocation. What started as a prank became a homicide, earning Davis a 30-year prison sentence. 4. The nightmare under the bed. Ever checked under your bed before sleeping? Maybe you should. In 2014, a teenage girl in England began receiving disturbing messages. One night, the sender claimed he was inside her house. The next morning, her family discovered him hiding under her bed. He had been there all night. This chilling, real-life horror story proves that sometimes the danger is already inside. 3. The attic intruder. What if you weren't living alone? A Colorado family kept noticing missing food and strange noises at night. Thinking nothing of it, they went on with their lives until they finally checked the attic. To their horror, a man had been secretly living there for weeks, sneaking down at night to roam their home while they slept. Second, Arizona's Red Ghost, a demonic rider haunting the desert. In 1883, settlers in Arizona reported a massive red beast carrying a headless rider. When a rancher shot the creature, they discovered the horrifying truth. It was a camel with a human corpse strapped to its back. The U.S. Army had once experimented with camels, but this one carried a mystery that lasted for years. 1. The horror of getting stuck together. An urban legend that turned out to be real. Penis captivus is a rare medical condition where muscle spasms cause a couple to become physically stuck together during intercourse. Though often dismissed as a myth, real cases have been documented, including one in Nairobi in 2012, where a couple had to be taken to the hospital while still locked together. Urban legends may seem like distant horrors, but many carry real-life lessons we shouldn't ignore. Stories of attic intruders and stalkers hiding under beds remind us to stay vigilant. Always lock doors, check hidden spaces, and be aware of your surroundings. The tragic tale of mistaken burials emphasizes the importance of second opinions in medical diagnoses. Even the deadly headlight gang initiation warns us to be cautious with strangers on the road. These legends aren't just eerie stories. They're cautionary tales urging us to take safety seriously. Stay alert, trust your instincts, and never assume danger only exists in myths. So, what do you think? Now that you know these urban legends turned out to be real, which one shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.